sport has the power to change the world.
Welcome to our final episode of 2017. It's the Laureus Power Sport podcast, where we'll be reflecting on an incredible sporting year. My name's Jean Smyth, and I've had the real pleasure of being in your company, and we look forward to even more in 2018. In this episode, we go to East London and celebrate with our youth empowerment through sport graduates, future leaders in so many ways of South Africa.
My name is Lumka Priscilla Sibanda. I'm from Grassroots Soccer Alexander. For me, my journey within the YES program has been great, I can say, because when I first became part of the Predators family, I felt rescued.
A special guest at that event, and who we also catch up with, is one of the fastest men on the planet, Akani Simbine, who has a special song in his honor.
The 989 song was done by Stogie T. He's a South African hip-hop artist, and he's become a friend of mine, like a big brother and someone that I look up to and I try to learn from,
And we rewind the tape and bring you some of the highlights from the power of sport in 2017, including the likes of Lucas Radebe, Jean Smyth, Grant Lottering, Dean Furman, Michael Johnson, Usain Bolt and others, as well as taking you into the heart of the Tour de France with Team Dimension data for Mobeka.
Langt ut der da! Han stiv som en pinne, og det like Arnt. Han forsvant og trent ut I gjerdet. Siste nå, der du! Den snilleste gutten I klassen! Den godeste gutten fra Rudsbygd! Kom igjen! Eddie! Hele veien, 250 meter igjen! Kjør, vi har ventet siden 2014! Da vant Alexander Kristoff 2 etappeseiere! Edvald må vi helt tilbake til 2011! He is back! Eddie the boss! Eddie the boss! Jadda! Tra-la-la-la-la! Vi har vunnet etappe! Ja, det så bra, det skal du få! Ridderklem! Woo! Jadda!
You can find us on iTunes, Omni Radio, and engage with us on Twitter, Facebook, and Instagram. Welcome to the show. While the Laureus World Sports Awards garner global appeal, the world's best athletes gathering on one glittering night, the real stars of the Laureus Foundation are found on the ground. In South Africa alone, 25 programs currently supported. It's within these organizations that leaders of today and champions of tomorrow have taken it upon themselves to effect meaningful change through sport in the communities that they're from. The Youth Empowerment Through Sport program, YES, is exactly aimed at this, to provide additional skills and leadership capabilities to young South Africans. And this year, those that graduated from the program spent a special few days in East London. There they were hosted at Mercedes-Benz South Africa, the foundation's key partner. Also in attendance was South Africa's sprint sensation Akani Simbine to provide his insights alongside ambassadors Zanele Mdodana and Natalie de Toy. Afterwards, I caught up with some of those that graduated to find out just what the year had been like.
My name is Bongiwe Ntleko, and I come from Soweto Touch Association. But this year in 2017 for the YES program, I was the facilitator as well as the protege coordinator in terms of mentoring the proteges. It has been a great year. Very inspiring because we've learned so much from these young leaders and how they have overcome their backgrounds. It's not about their backgrounds, but it's about where they are going. So I've learned so much from this year.
Tabile Nene, I'm from Grassroots Soccer Alex, and this year I was a protege. So for me, the year went really well. It was something I didn't expect to gain as much as I did. The program, I'd say, was insightful. It upskilled me, and for me, most importantly, it was a journey of self-discovery most of the time, because I got to learn on how I can make myself better as a person and as a coach for my kids, and on how to better facilitate the programs that I do for the kids. And for me, that was big because getting back to the community with the skills that I gained, I actually became a better mentor to them, and I'm thankful to Laureus for that.
What sort of footballer, soccer player is Lukman?
Let me be honest. He's horrible. He's horrible. I could see he's a rugby player because he was one-on-one with the goalpost, and guess where the ball went? Up there.
My name is Akani Simbine, and I'm from Cape Town in a township called Khayelitsha from Ways for Change organization. This year with Yes Prodigy program, it was a long journey, but it was so awesome, wonderful, and it's such a great experience. I was so inspired and empowered because I've overcome so much challenges in life. And I also learned to become resilient. That's why some of the challenges that came through my journey I overcome, because I told myself that I will never give up. If I want a goal, I will go for it. Even if there's obstacles in life, I will not focus on those obstacles. They will always be there, but I will keep on overcoming my challenge. Today's graduation was so fun and wonderful. I enjoyed it. I was so excited that I graduated. I will take everything that I've learned to Yes program and implement it in my community and in my organization.
My name is Happiness Ultra. I'm from a township in Cape Town called Khayelitsha. I'm from grassroots soccer in Khayelitsha. My journey with Yes program, it was a difficult one, challenging for me, but I managed to overcome all the challenges, and I managed to finish my journey with the Yes program. And also today's graduation, it was amazing for me. I got so much inspired from the panel that were sitting in front. They motivated me so much, and also through this journey I learned to be resilient. Like if ever I'm failing on my goals, I can bounce back again and get my goals. Yeah, thank you.
My name is Lumka Priscilla Sbanda. I'm from Grassroots Soccer Alexander. When I first became part of the Predators family, I felt rescued because before I started the Yes journey, I was drowning in a lot of troubles. Then when I went to Cape Town for our first camp, from that day I got inspired, motivated, and educated. And there are certain skills that I've learned from the Yes program. And what I can say for someone who's young, it's a saying that says, no matter how difficult the going may be, you just have to keep going. And if you can see that a strategy that you are using to reach your goal is not working, rather change the direction, but never change the goal.
My name is Jodine Sigelaar. I'm from Ways to Change. I live in the Retreat, Lavendale, Cape Town. For me, this year has been super awesome. It has changed me as a person. When I came to Laureus, I've learned about self-development, self-discovery, self-respect, how to be a better coach. I feel motivated. Today was our graduation, and it was very awesome. I feel inspired. I feel like I want to reach my goals. I feel like I want to do more in the community and uplift the children through sport. And I just want to say thank you to Laureus.
Akani, you're here with William, who is obviously part of the Yes program and graduated today. How inspired were you as a professional athlete yourself to see the likes of what these guys are doing?
For me, it inspired me a lot because it showed the tenacity and just the drive that they have to actually do something and complete it. For them to go into something like this, going to something that's different from the regular path is inspiration on itself. Not everyone gets an opportunity, not everyone is interested in doing this, and they went on to go into this and actually completed it, and it's something that will push them to greater things, greater heights in their careers and their lives, and like especially with William with his biking life, it's something that can inspire him and can be a doorway to greater things. You don't know who he might have met today that can help him get to where he needs to be in the mountain biking career.
William, we spoke at the Epic, and you and Philemon were one of the first guys to be in our podcast. You see this man train often. You both at the HPC. Is he a hard trainer?
I actually see him eat more than train. No, But honestly, he's a hardworking guy, and I think one thing I really like about Akani is, and I've heard a lot of people talking about it, is like when he's completely focused, whatever he's focusing on, this is the thing that he's going to stick on, is that he doesn't get diverted by other things along the way. So with most athletes, I think that's the key to actually get to where you want to be and reach your objectives. Just focusing more on what you want to do and entirely that until you achieve it.
Well, we heard from Simbine there, and 2018 is certainly a big year for him and the rest of the South African athletics team, who continue to shine on the international stage. I caught up with the speedster after training to find out what his plans were, and also put his memory to the test in what went down on the sporting front in 2017.
Well, 2017 has been quite a blessed year for me. I secured a couple of corporate sponsors, which is very important for me and as an athlete, and bringing up that attention into athletics and the athletes and the performance that we're doing as athletes. Performance-wise, I was happy, but not too happy because I didn't come back with the medal. But, I'm really happy that the consistency is still there. I finished first at World Champs. I finished 4th overall in the world. I got my sub-20 in the 200. So it was really a good year athletic-wise and professionally. And I think, it's building up to greater things.
Before I ask more specifically about the general state of athletics and the role you play in that, 2017 will also be known, of course, of the year that Usain Bolt met his final bow. You competed in his final race. I know he's somebody that you've come to know quite well. What sort of gap or hole will Usain Bolt leave in the sport, considering you won't be there from next year?
Usain Bolt is a very special guy. I always say that there's always that one guy in a generation that will make a difference and will make an impact in athletics, and he was that guy. And, it's going to be tough without him, and we're going to miss him and stuff. But I think that as athletes and what we are doing now as athletes, we are bringing back the love for athletics in a broader perspective. It's not just the sprints that everybody wants to watch. It's the high jump that Pashim just won IAAF Sportsman of the Year. He brought back the love for the high jump. There's a love for the throws. There's a love for the long jump with Luvo and Rushwell. So it's very wide, and that's what we need in athletics. When sports not there, now we are able to, spread the wings and have the whole term of athletics being known as it's the big thing now. It's athletics. It's not just Usain Bolt show. It's athletics in the broader perspective.
Did he play any kind of specific role for you in your career?
I met Usain for the first time last year in Jamaica, and since that time, when I got to know him, I started realizing that I need to stop taking athletics so seriously and my racing so seriously, because it's a short career, and I need to start having more fun with it and enjoying it and putting in the work, but making sure that I enjoy it at the end of the day, because it's such a short career. And that's one advice that he gave me. He said, he noticed that I'm very uptight and serious when I go to the race and stuff, and I should start relaxing more and start enjoying and, being in the moment and not missing the moment, because I'm so focused on trying to win and everything. So for me, he's been a great inspiration since the time he, broke the world records, and he just made history, and he'll always be an inspiration even though he's gone.
If we look ahead to next year then, Akani, it obviously is a big year for you, like every year I suppose is, but there is no Bolt who we've spoken about. I think that you had only at this point certainly planned to run the 100 at the Commonwealth Games, but I imagine you've got really big ambitions there, and you referenced the medal earlier, and I'm not sure if you're planning on running the 200, but Wade's obviously struggling with injury as well, so he's not likely to compete in that event should you be looking at it.
The 200, I'm just looking to get more experience in the 200 right now, because I'm still learning, and trying to find my feet in the 200. It's still a difficult event for me to do, but I'm really up for the challenge. And if I get put into the 200, which I'm thinking they're going to put me in because Wade's not there, I'll try to do my best and everything. But I'm always looking to improve. I'm always looking to do best in everything I do. And if I'm put onto a 200 list and they tell me now I need to run 200, I'll make sure that I'll put up my best on the track.
Now, you recently were a special guest at the Youth Empowerment Through Sports, the YES graduation out in East London. It was great to have you along there with Laureate South Africa and all of the graduates as well. Just as a young person, very experienced you are, but you are still quite a young person. Or how important do you see the roles of those youngsters that graduated and the roles that they play in their community, certainly in terms of being responsible, young, committed South Africans going forward?
I think the students that come from the Laureus program are very important to the communities because now they've gotten in touch with people with experience and they've gotten in touch with people that they can make connections with that are able to help their communities. You know, these students are people that come from communities which are disadvantaged and they know their communities the best and they are able to change those communities. And these students that I've met, they are very committed to making a better way for the communities, you know, in terms of sports, in terms of growth of the youth and just making sure that the youth grow up to be, you know, great citizens and great people at the end of the day. And the Laureus Sport Foundation is just amazing by doing that and just offering kids and communities that aren't able to be reached by everybody a platform to learn and grow and be the best people that they can be at the end of the day.
And I mean, you are a role model to many. Just how importantly do you take that responsibility on yourself?
I feel like everybody's a role model, you know. I don't look at myself much as a role model, but if people see me as a role model, like it's an honor and, you know, it's humbling that people look at me and look at what I've done as something that they can look up to and strive towards, you know. And I always make sure that I live towards being the best that I can. You know, I wake up, I go to the gym and I tell myself, okay, I'm going to be better than I was yesterday in the gym. I'm going to be better than I was yesterday in the track. And I'm going to be a better person than I was yesterday, you know, and I try and improve with everything I can be, you know. Whatever I do, I try to be better. And I feel like that's the key to being the best person you are. And everybody is a role model. You don't have to be the papers. You don't have to be, you know, known by a lot of people. The people around you probably look up to you, and that's enough to be a role model.
The South African record, your best time, 9:89. And as we know these days, if something doesn't happen on social media, we're never quite sure if it's fact or not. And I think I might have spied a song playing on in your very impressive Merc as you were driving home, and it's 9:89. Can you tell me a little bit about is that purely coincidence, or is that something that's been commissioned specifically for you?
The 989 song was done by Stogie T. He's a South African hip-hop artist, and he's become a friend of mine, you know, and like a big brother and someone that I look up to and I try to learn from, you know. He wrote the song for me and he put it out there, and you know, it's a very touching song because he explains a lot of things in the song with regards to my running and everything, and how he finds inspiration from me running and how I'm doing good and all these things. So it's one of those songs where I'll keep forever. Even though I break the record again, I'll still keep it and keep it close to my heart.
Okay, simple one up first, I think. Who was named as the winner of the Laureus World Sportsman of the Year earlier this year?
I know last year was Usain, but I'm not sure about this year. Have they had the award yet?
Yeah, they had. So I think what you're thinking of is the one that's the last one that's passed, which was Usain. So that's 100% correct. It obviously came off the back of what happened in Rio 2016, where you performed so incredibly well as well. On that theme, who then was the Woman of the Year? Do you remember that?
No.
It was the U.S. gymnast Simone Biles.
Yeah, that lady.
Yeah.
I remember now.
Who won the Champions League?
I think Madrid.
Yep, 100%. And the English Premier League?
We didn't win. Did we win last year? Did Chelsea win last year? Chelsea didn't win last year. Did we win last year? Either us or Man City.
I'll tell you what, 50-50, we'll give it to you. Chelsea, indeed, won the last Premier League title. They're not going to win this year, but...
that's tough. Chelsea's going to come back, you know. We have to take it back-to-back.
Okay. Do you remember who was the men's champion at Wimbledon?
Rafa.
Roger
Federer.
Yeah. Who won the Tour de France?
I'm not sure.
Okay, that was Chris Froome. And finally, the most difficult question out of the 7 you'll face. Who's the better online gamer, Rushwell Samai or Wade Finikak?
Akani Simbine.
Akani Simbine. On that note, Akani, thank you very much for your time. Really do appreciate it. Safe travels, have a happy holidays, and we'll see you soon. And all the best for the new year.
Thank you very much.
Chelsea fans, what a year 2017 has been for Simbine and for them. Well, the launch of this podcast has seen us chat to people from all over the world, telling all sorts of different stories. Thank you all for continuing that thread and spreading not just the word of this podcast, but importantly, the message that Laureus carries. We end the year with a look back on some of the highlights, a best of the power of sport. We hear from Lucas Khadebe, an emotional Grant Lottering, former Proteas captain Jean Smyth, new ambassador Corne Krige, inspiring founder of the award-winning Waves for Change, Tim Konibe, and coach Gaiva Ngiyaka. Jacques Callis tells us about his career sporting highlight. No, it's not cricket related. The longest hole started with 2 people, but picked up a very important third canine member as they trekked across Mongolia. Team Dimension data for Quebec's heart-wrenching ride at the Tour de France. That formed a special edition. Grant Nesbitt on the Springboks against the All Blacks, and if there's still a rivalry. And of course, a trip down the sporting red carpet at the Laureus World Sports Awards in Monaco with Michael Johnson, Usain Bolt, David Coulthard and Gary Player.
You know, walking on the streets of late, people bowing down on my feet. Sometimes I didn't understand at first. And I'm thinking, what the hell? What is he doing? You know? But it's something that has really got me emotional. And to see how my contribution, just with football, can make you belong to a place where it was full of racism. And especially as a black guy from South Africa. And being taken into heart like that. It was absolutely amazing. There was one guy who came to me at some point, says, he was in a wheelchair. He says, I've never respected a player like I respected you. I feel like I could walk. He told me, he says, I feel like I could stand up and walk. You know, and those are the things that sometimes you're like, okay, it'll be a miracle. But you know, those are the things that it takes me aback and I'm like, what? I mean, I've only just played football and I've only given my best, you know, to a club that gave me an opportunity to play in the Premiership. And with the great managers that I've had, you know, from Howard Wilkinson to George Graham, David O'Leary, who really said I should be chained to a rock, shouldn't be leaving the club at some point when there was interest. And those are the people that have really contributed immensely, and that I will always carry them close to my heart and wherever I go. You know, I mean, I intend going to Leeds soon for my little boy, and hopefully, you know, I think we'll revive all those great memories.
So physically there was absolutely no sign. So I was lying there thinking, you know, what did I do to deserve this? I was feeling sorry for myself, you know, and I was really just totally overwhelmed by the situation I found myself in, being in a foreign hospital. And then the surgeon or the doctor that treated me on the road, who saved my life, came and saw me. He sat with me. And he said 2 things to me that just completely changed the way I look at life. And that's why it's so important, the way we look at things, the way we think, which influences everything else. He said to me, you survived death, number 1. And I never thought of it that way. You know, how do you survive death? When you die, you die. You know what I mean? And then he said to me, and there's a reason why you did. What you do with your life now is up to you. And that just changed everything. It changed the way I look at my situation. And within the next couple of days, I had this vision in my mind that I'm going to go home, I'm going to get back on my bike, come hell or high water, and I'm going to come back and do this race. I've still got this little book at home, this little notebook I had in hospital with me, which I still wrote in there, I'll be back next year.
I just think the PR around South African cricket hasn't been great in terms of handling the AB situation and handling the new coach situation. You know, I think there are obviously things that are in conversations that have been had behind the scenes, in my impression or my thoughts, and sort of there's just been this floating, and it hasn't really been dealt with, or there's been no direction on a lot of this stuff. And I think that AB made a decision quite a while ago when I look at it that, you know, from his body, from his family, from the amount of travel and the workload, that he didn't feel that he could compete at all 3 levels of the game, you know. And after 106 test matches, just looking at it, it looks like he's ready to retire from the longer format of the game. And, you know, he's set himself some goals, and he's come out publicly and said that he wants to go to the 2019 World Cup and he wants to win it. And if that's the last goal he's got at international level, then people have to respect that. That's the one thing that he wants to achieve in the game. If that's where he feels that he's going to retire from international cricket, then and this is his best way of getting there. And I think it's just in terms of the PR around it, which has not been handled well, I don't think.
Yes, obviously it's a massive honour for me to be a Laureus ambassador, and with that massive honour comes some responsibility. Laureus is an incredible foundation, and they have some amazing charities, and obviously I'd love to add to that and really try and do my bit to help the children, especially in South Africa, and look after the kids here and share some of my lessons that sport has taught me over many, many years.
Tim, it's the first time I've met you and actually seen you in a wetsuit.
Yeah, it's not very flattering, is it?
Very briefly, how's the road trip going? How proud are you?
Oh, it's rad. Got, Ace Buchan and Frank Solomon and Rosie Hodge and the guys have come up. And the waves are firing, and I think they're going to probably see the first aerial at this beach they've ever seen. So it's
from you?
Not from me. They're probably just going to see me wipe out all the time, and I'm tempted not to surf because everyone's going to show me up. But no, it's awesome.
Every time I cross by, they always are like, Gaiva, they know me well most for a long time. Gaiva, how Gaiva, you going to the beach? Even when it was hot, they always come at home, they ask me, you're not going to go to the beach because it's hot today? I say, no, it's my off day, I'm supposed to chill at home, So it's nice for me, and also it makes me feel good so I can do more. So we can have more children, so they can come here. We can help more children in our community, so they don't lost hope.
Hole-in-one, Jacques, your greatest ever sporting achievement?
Right up there, yeah.
Tell us about
it. I really enjoy my golf, and it was probably something that I wasn't really thinking of. We were playing in a charity day up in Komatipoort at Kumbaku, Harry van Dijk's day, and we had a very festive night the night before, so I wasn't feeling the strongest the following day. So the last thing on my mind was trying to hold this hole-in-one, even though it's been something that I've really wanted for a long time, and managed to put the ball down, hit a 7-9, 176 meters, second bounce into the hole. Yeah, then the festivities really started. So it was good fun to do it with a few mates around. So I think the whole field camp just stopped. It was just golf carts coming from all directions. We certainly made enough noise. But yeah, nice to do it on a good day where we're doing something for a good cause and having all my mates around.
It was a completely unexpected third member of our team, and basically on the third or fourth day of the expedition, we were still up in the White River Valley, which has been a real difficult start to the journey. And we actually had a cameraman, Andrew King, a Cape Town guy who was out filming for the first week with us. And Adam and I, he went ahead to go and do some filming, and Adam and I sort of came around this corner, and Andrew was sitting on the ground with his dog, had his head in his lap, and we didn't think much of it. And Andrew went, this dog just arrived, and he's crying, and he seems a bit lost and lonely. And Andrew's a real sort of dog animal lover, and anyway, we didn't really know what to do. But as we sort of got up to carry on walking, the dog started following us, and we thought, I wonder how long he's going to stick with us. And we didn't see any vehicles or other people for the rest of the day. And that evening, we gave him some food, and we woke up the next morning, he was still there. And all of a sudden, we realized, he was walking with us, and we were feeding him, and we were taking, although he was lost, we were taking further and further away from his home. So there were a few vehicles that were transporting hikers that came past us during the day, and we sort of asked them whether they'd be willing to take this dog back to where we'd found him, and no one was particularly keen. And after a couple of days of feeding him, and he sort of started becoming more and more part of the family, and he's an elderly dog, but he sort of kept up at the pace. And then one day we sort of said, we better give this dog a name. He's with us, and we sort of pulled out the name Ulaanbaatar, short because we thought at this rate he's going to get all the way across the country with us. And 77 days later, and about 1900 k's later, he trotted into Ulaanbaatar with us. What an amazing dog in terms of his loyalty and his endurance.
Vade explains how important the staff dynamic is in a team.
The staff in our team and in any team are critical to the success of the team, and the riders put a huge amount of pressure on themselves and want to perform at the highest level in a race like the Tour de France, and if things aren't going your way, it's the staff that can lift the morale of the team and connect and unite a team to get behind themselves and to get the riders to believe in themselves to want to be successful. If you look at the physios or the carers, the soigneurs that massage the riders' legs every day, and they're the ones that talk quite intimately with the guys during their recovery sessions, and so if they are incredibly positive and tell the guys that they feel good and that they can still do something, it makes a big difference. As with the mechanics working on the bikes, the love and care and attention that they provide and put every day onto the equipment gives the guys, I guess, that extra motivation to be successful.
Grant, the recent history between the Springboks and the All Blacks obviously heavily favours world champion All Blacks at the moment. Is that rivalry still as real as ever?
Well, certainly from a New Zealander's point of view, it is, absolutely. And these things go in cycles. There was a time when the Springboks were quite dominant. There was a time where we simply couldn't win Test series in South Africa. And it wasn't until 1996 that we were able to change that. So I think from an All Blacks point of view, the ultimate is playing against the Springboks. Sure, we probably play against the Wallabies more often. We go on our Northern tour in November every year, but I think the rivalry between the All Blacks playing at home and away against the Springboks is as strong now as it ever has been.
Sportswoman of the Year.
And the Laureus Academy have chosen Simone Biles. I am so speechless. It's an honor to receive this award from Prince Albert and Nadia Comaneci.
Comeback of the Year.
And the Laureus Academy have chosen Michael Phelps.
This Olympics has been absolutely incredible. The last 2 years of my life were probably the best 2 years of my life.
Spirit of Sport.
Ladies and gentlemen, Leicester City.
It's fantastic. It's unbelievable what we had to last season.
Sportsperson of the Year with a disability.
And the Laureus Academy have chosen Beatrice.
I'm very, very happy to be here. I think that I'm very, very lucky to be here.
Breakthrough of the Year.
Nico Rosberg.
It's been my dream to stand up here myself one day, and so it's unbelievable.
Sporting inspiration.
The refugee Olympic team. Sport has a power to unite people, to give a sense of belonging.
Sportsman of the Year.
And the Laureus Academy have chosen Usain Bolt.
I want to say to the young kids growing up, just live your dream, work hard, stay focused, and just be strong, and just keep on pushing, and it will come true. So thank you.
I would be the last person to tell someone who's won the world championship, Olympic championship, and broken the world record, what they need to do. He's obviously doing some things right. And, and that's his choice to make the decision. I think, I've been there as an athlete where every decision you make is scrutinized. Everyone's trying to predict the future. It's fun to do. But at the end of the day, as an athlete, you make the decisions that you make. You focus on, the journey to get there and accomplish what it is that you're trying to accomplish. And, sometimes you're successful and sometimes you're not.
That track is ready to go. The investment that's been made has made it absolutely a turnkey solution. The drivers would love the challenge because it's retained a lot of the old character of the racetrack. I think it's got FIA Grade 2 or something, but it's just a formality, I would say, to being capable of hosting Formula One. And to have a true world championship, you've got to be in the continents. You've got to be in, and if we look at the popularity and success that South Africa has had in Formula One in the past, it's a South African world champion, it's had many great Grand Prix there. It was a question of cost and the ability to host the event and actually make it at least a break-even business or a business that the government could justify to the public, was bringing something back to the country, because otherwise, why would you do it? And I think that Formula One has lost a little bit its ability to deliver that to places like South Africa.
Even though I've got the best world record around the world in golf, having won in more than 15 countries, I don't expect people to talk about me when I'm gone. Somebody else will come along and you move on. You've had your time here. Life is for the living, and on you go to a better place. And I SMS'd Arnold Palmer the other day. I said, make sure you've got a good course up there and a good gym, and we'll get together, you, Jack Nicklaus, and myself, but I'm not in a hurry to tee off.
And we had some fun too with our guests as we played Blitz. 7 either-or questions. Rake Netling, Daley Thompson, Princess Charlene Monaco, Smith Callis, and the Blitz Box.
In any sports, England or Australia?
That's a difficult one.
Pass is not an option.
I'd probably say Australia.
The Springboks or the All Blacks?
All Blacks.
Oh, are you sure about that answer?
If this doesn't go out until Monday, it's great because I'm leaving Monday.
Lewis Hamilton or Sebastian Vettel?
Sebastian Vettel.
Final one, Jacques Callis or Mark Boucher?
For what?
You can decide the context.
I'm going to go Bout because Callis is easier to deal with. Can't handle the complaints from Bout.
And finally, Graham Smith or Mark Boucher?
Graham Smith.
You ready?
I'm ready.
Playing or coaching?
Ooh, probably playing.
Stellenbosch or Vrystaat?
Stellenbosch.
2 kids or 3?
Whoa, 2.
Hilux or Ranger?
Oh, let's call it Hilux.
Charlize or Mila Kunis?
Mila Kunis.
Your wife's a blonde, huh?
I know, yeah.
Okay, check.
And that's a wrap from the Power of Sport for 2017. Thank you for subscribing, downloading and sharing. Enjoy the holiday listen. We look forward to joining you again in 2018 for even more as we champion sport's ability to change the world. From myself, Jean Smyth, and the entire production team, a big thank you. Cheers.